Flight 305, the perfect crime. A man, a commercial plane, a massive ransom, and an impossible vanishing act. We're not dealing with clear answers here. Instead, we're tracking a ghost in the night, a bag full of cash, and arguably the greatest unsolved mystery in the entire history of aviation.
Picture this. It's November 24th, 1971, Northwest Orient Flight 305. It's supposed to be a short, completely routine trip from Portland to Seattle. A man walks onto the plane, he buys a ticket under the name Dan Cooper, he sits down, and honestly, he looks completely ordinary. He's calm, there is absolutely nothing about him that stands out. The engines start, and the plane takes off into the sky, just like any other day.
But then everything changes. Shortly after takeoff, this ordinary, calm man calls over a flight attendant. He hands her a piece of paper, and on it is a terrifying message. "I have a bomb in my briefcase." Just like that, a normal flight instantly turns into a high-stakes nightmare. The threat is incredibly real, and the trap is officially set.
Now, what's truly chilling is how calculated his next move is. He doesn't panic at all. Instead, he asks for exactly two things: $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. Notice that, not 1 parachute, but 4. This makes the authorities think he might force hostages to jump out with him. It's a brilliant, terrifying strategy. He is in absolute total control of that plane.
$200,000. In 1971, you have to remember, that is an absolute fortune. The FBI and the airline authorities, they know they're backed into a corner. They're dealing with a man holding a bomb in the sky. To save the passengers, they literally have no choice but to comply. They agree to gather the cash.
His master plan goes perfectly into motion. First, the plane touches down in Seattle. Second, the release. Cooper actually keeps his word and lets the terrified passengers go. They walk off the plane, totally safe. Third, the delivery. The authorities bring those heavy bags of cash and the parachutes right aboard. Finally, the takeoff. With the massive ransom in hand and only the flight crew left, Cooper orders the plane right back into the air.
Part 1. Into the Darkness, a stormy flight over the Pacific Northwest.
Now we enter the absolute most dangerous part of the story. The atmosphere outside shifts completely. It's a stormy night. The plane is flying somewhere over wild, rugged terrain, and the weather is violent. Inside the cabin, Cooper is entirely alone with his bags of cash and his parachutes. What happens next is literally the stuff of legend. Mid-flight, Cooper goes to the back of the Boeing 727. He forces the rear staircase to lower directly into the howling storm. And then, he steps out. He jumps right into the pitch-black darkness with the money, falling into the violent night thousands of feet above the ground.
The plane keeps flying. Hours later, it lands safely. But when the doors open, Cooper is completely gone. The cabin is totally empty. He had vanished entirely into the night sky, taking that massive fortune with him.
Part 2. The FBI manhunt, hunting a ghost.
Almost immediately, the federal government launches a massive search across the rugged Pacific Northwest. They're desperately looking for a man, a parachute, or a giant pile of cash. But the results? Deeply frustrating. This became one of the largest investigations in the entire history of the FBI. Agents worked endlessly. They pulled in thousands of suspects, examining every single person who might be connected. But every single lead hit a dead end. Dan Cooper was never found. Not a single trace of the man.
But then, decades later, long after the trail had gone totally cold, one chilling clue finally appeared. Some of the ransom money was discovered near a riverbank. It was decaying, rotting cash. But the serial numbers? They matched the money given to Cooper perfectly. It was the exact ransom. But there was no parachute, and there was definitely no Cooper. Just a silent riverbank and a bundle of old money.
Part 3. The Unsolved Mystery. 2 conflicting theories.
Because the man was never found, and only a tiny piece of the money was ever recovered, investigators and the public are left with a great debate. Weighing the realities gives us 2 distinct possibilities. First, he died during that dangerous jump. It was a freezing, violent storm. He jumped into the pitch black over wild forests. A lot of people believe no one could survive that drop. But then there's the second theory. He survived and lived under a completely different identity. Think about it. He was calm. He was incredibly smart. He asked for 4 parachutes just to confuse them. A man that calculated might have actually planned the perfect escape, walking away rich to start a brand new life.
More than 50 years later, the mystery remains totally unsolved. Who was that calm man on Flight 305? Who really was D.B. Cooper? And where did the rest of that massive ransom go? We've looked at the terrifying hijacking, the massive manhunt, the violent storm, and that decaying money found in the dirt. It remains a perfect, cinematic crime that leaves us with one haunting thought. Do you think D.B. Cooper survived the jump?